The April 17th meeting of the Carter County Commission is now in session. I respectfully request everyone in the courtroom to turn off your cell phone at this time. Also, commissioners, do not use your phone for texting. This can be very distracting. We need for you to please remain focused on the issues at hand. Commissioners, if you wish to speak at any given time, please stand to be recognized by the chair. Only one person will be recognized to speak at any given time. Also, all discussion must pertain to the motion that is under consideration. Going off on irrelevant topics is not in order. Third, debate of the issues is always encouraged. However, personal attacks will not be tolerated. A professional decorum must be maintained in this meeting at all times. During commissioner comments, motions to adjourn will not be entertained until the chair is satisfied that all commissioners who wish to speak have had the opportunity to do so. Mr. Gary Smith, sir, if you would please come forth and present the emergency egress plan.
Good evening. For those of you who may not have attended the county commission meeting before, should we have an event that requires us to evacuate this room, our primary evacuation route is to the south, which is the monument side. We go down the steps and assemble in the back parking lot behind the building. That keeps the fire lanes and everything open for emergency vehicles. The secondary egress route is the stairwell right across from the elevator. Please do not use the elevator just if we have some kind of emergency. And we also have an AED downstairs next to the elevator should we need a ride. And finally, and certainly important, the restrooms are located on the north end of the building on the first and second floor and are handicapped accessible. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would, proceed with roll call. Two absent. Mr. Simmerly and Mr. McQueen. Quorum present. Thank you. Now, as far as the agenda is concerned, there is one error on the agenda. It's a typographical error on item 12. It should say October 1, 2015 through March 31, 2017, not October 1, 2016. So if you'll make that change, and then the chair will entertain a motion in reference to the agenda. Mr. Hill? You make the motion, and second by Mr. Holder. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote. Motion passes. If you would please stand for the opening prayer, which will be led by Commissioner Campbell. Remain standing afterwards for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Mr. Peters.
Dear Heavenly Father, God, Lord, let's bow our heads once and Lord this day, God, and give you praise and honor, God, for what you've done in each one of our lives. Lord, we can never thank you enough for what you've done for each one of us, God, every prayer that you've answered, the ones you're going to answer. God, we do pray, Lord, for each one, Lord, is local government and our government, Lord, we just pray, God, that you give us the wisdom and knowledge, Lord, to make these decisions that we make. Lord, we pray today, Lord, for each one, Lord, that's gathered under this roof, Lord, that you have your hands upon each one. God, we pray for those that are sick in body, Lord. We pray, God, that you touch them. Lord, we know your scripture says you were healed by your stripes, Lord, and we proclaim that tonight in our hearts. Lord, we do believe that you're risen from the dead, Lord, and you're alive today because you live within our hearts. God, we give you honor and praise for this day, for the food, clothing that we have on our back, Lord, and the jobs that we have. Lord, we give you the praise and honor for it. God, we pray, Lord, as we go into this meeting, that you guide each one of us, Lord, in the decisions that we make. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, would all the elected and appointed officials please stand to be recognized? Thank you. We appreciate your service. Public comments. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the commission, please stand to be recognized. Mr. Chris is first, so sir, you have 5 minutes. Please clearly state your name for the clerk and proceed.
My name is Chris Little with the Ideas Group. Before it started, we passed out some pictures. If you would pass them around to each other so that you can see what we did up at the site at Hampton. From start to finish, we came up with this idea, and within approximately 45 days, it went from idea to finished product. What I would like to take this time is to thank the people who helped. That were on our cleanup on that Saturday. We had 4 county commissioners come, and I would like for them to stand at this time. There was also an Elizabethton city councilman and one from the city park and rec. The Ideas Group was there, APES, the Appalachian Paddling Enthusiast was there, the Elizabethton Art and Cultural Alliance was there, Captain Tom Smith with the Carter County Sheriff's Department. And then just citizens of the community. This is one of the, I've been coming to several commission meetings, and this is the first time that I've ever seen every vote be aye for a project. And we appreciate that. We had Doc Miller on security that morning. As we was getting ready to start, there was a flock of 30 buzzards flew in and landed in a tree overlooking us and getting ready to operate heavy equipment. We knew that was a bad omen. Halfway through it, Doc come over and told me to move, but they were looking at me. So we thank you for giving us a chance to come in and do something. It is something that the citizens of this county can be proud of. That will bring money into this county. Rafters, kayakers, and stuff will come in and start using that now. They have an access point. We're wanting to do a tubing race, probably with the covered bridge. We're trying to coordinate that now to see if we can't get that going. On Sunday, when we loaded up our equipment, was going home, I saw a TWRA officer with somebody pulled over. I couldn't resist it. I turned around, went back, parked behind him till the finished writing a ticket. I took him up to the landing site. In June, TWRA is probably going to start stopping at the track. This is one of the few public access areas that they have for people to fish that's in a river. So with that, we thank you for giving us a chance to come in and do something. We appreciate you working with us. We hope that we can work with you again. We have several other projects that we hope that you'll be seeing from us soon. We've already contacted TWRA about putting in a new pipe on Mill Race, taking the old fish pond, turning it into a kids exhibit where they can come and feed fish. TVA sent 3 engineers up from Chattanooga for that, so that was very promising. Appalachian State has come in. It's in preliminary stages, but it looks like in August they're going to come in with their 3 certified architects and 16 senior architect students, and we hope to totally redesign the park down around the covered bridge. The bridge itself will be the same, but we're wanting to put trees of color for the fall, flowers for the spring, do a lot of different things down there that we can do. There's talk, they want to put a bathroom in. So we got to talk about that. Maybe it'd be good to have a reception area. And then it got into, that's the mill race, once we put a water wheel on it and make it look like an old mill. That would help with tourism. There are grants if we turn around and take the water wheel and make electricity. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at, that we're working on. And we thank you all for that. And this coming week, there's a professional disc golfer that's coming into town. We're looking at maybe putting on a disc golf tournament. If we can get it on their circuit, they bring anywhere from 200 to 300 participants, and they have over 10,000 come to watch. So that's something, I just happened to meet one, and he lives in Gray. And he was talking about building these tournaments up and setting them up. And he said he had a real good friend who that's all he does is go around and set the ranges up. And he said, you know where he's from, don't you? And I said, no. He said he's from Elizabeth. So hopefully we can get something there and work it out. We did have T-shirts donated. Everybody got a T-shirt that worked. We want to thank the UPS store for giving it. And inside the filament it says Ideas 2017 Hampton Whitewater Boat Launch Project. And everybody that worked got one of these. And on the back it says, I love Carter County.
Thank you. He's finished?
I think I got everything.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. And I think that we should all give the Ideas Group and all the other groups of citizens that have come together to make a positive change in our landscape a round of applause, because without them, okay. Next gentleman, come right on up, sir. Mr. Gavin A.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Paul Gavin. I'm the Executive Director of the Shepherd's Inn Safe House Emergency Shelter for Women and Children of Carter County, Elizabeth. I want to first thank you. Last year, you gave us a wonderful award by helping pay our house payments for this entire year of 2017. We've yet to acquire those funds because we're in the process of applying for help with our audit. Of all the organizations that we ask money from, this is one that requires an audit, so we wasn't quite ready to do that. I'm here officially today by our board of directors. Members of our board asked if I would come in first, of course, and thank you all. And we have put a request in for next year. And for the budget committee, so gracious, and to you all, we're asking for an amendment of the funds that we asked for this next year. We asked for $12,000, it's going to cost us approximately just under $1,000 a month for house payment. And we're asking for $3,000 more, $15,000, in hopes that you'll consider that at the budget meetings. And the reason for that is because we're going to have to pay for the audit, and we don't have money in our budget for that. Our actual funds that we pay for our accounting is $1,200 a year. So that's it. I just want to say thank you. I want to ask you to please consider a $3,000 amendment to our request for this coming year. Instead of $12,000, we're going to ask for $15,000. And again, thank you. This is our 20th anniversary of serving this community and working with women and children who have no place to turn and no one to whom they can turn. We're grateful to you. Thank you much.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, if you would care, just email me the request, and that way I have documentation to give the budget committee and all their files for your official request.
Thank you.
Sir. If you would, please clearly state your name for the clerk, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Matt Narishaw. I'm also with the Ideas Group, working on that project up in Hampton. I want to echo all the thanks and the appreciation and support from all you folks. This has been an amazing project. It's been fantastic. The feedback we've gotten from citizens in town and out of town has been phenomenal. You'll see some sheets getting passed around with some rough numbers. I'm real proud of the way everybody came together and the amount of money we were able to save on this project. Originally, we were hearing people were throwing numbers at me, that's a $10,000 to $15,000 project. We were able to do it, retail price for us to have done it, $57,037 $57.37, under $6,000. The only money we had to start this project was a $1,500 donation from Jared Ellis at Jay's Corner. When all was said and done, we were able to give him $878.67 back in change from the project. I'm very, very proud of those numbers because those numbers show what happens when people in the community come together. I'd like to go over where we got donations from. We had I put down 32, but there could have been 35, might have been 40 volunteers throughout the day. $75 a day for $2,400. We rented a wood chipper. That was one of the things we couldn't get on discount. That was $180.68. Walk behind bush hog, $150. Terry at A to Z ended up not charging us for it. He was happy to be a part of it. Tractor with a bush hog on it. Dr. Little brought his bush hog up there, made short work of that tall grass out front. I brought my backhoe in, moved some stuff around, did a little bit of grade work with it. AC Enzer, can't say enough good about him and the work he did to help us out. He brought a skid steer and a dump truck. Between the 4 dump trucks that worked on that site with no charge, I have that down for about $400 retail. Skid steer, $600. Gravel, we used $887 worth of gravel retail. Commissioner Ward negotiated a deal with us with USA Aggregate. Our final price was $440 for the gravel. Chop that in half. The total money we actually spent, $621.33. The t-shirts, like I said, Tammy Taylor down at UPS, she donated all those. And and again, I've got to stress, everybody that donated is chomping at the bit to donate for the next project. They're like, we're not even started yet. Dump trucks, we had mine, ACES, and Jamie Heaton, and a fellow named Jason Taylor. They all donated. Just fantastic how everybody came together. But the $10,000 to $12,000 project, again, for $621. I'm very proud of that. None of it would have gone down without everybody's help here. Everybody's. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Ms. Ray?
Jean Ray from Dennis Cove area, and the main reason I'm here is because it's on the agenda for your all's approval to place signs in Dennis Cove, and it's been approved by the highway committee. And I'm asking for the remainder of the commissioners' support on this, because it's a danger for the people who come to the trail because of the way they park on the side of the road, and not only them, but the residents who live there. My fear is that either an adult or a child is going to get hit, if not just injured, possibly killed by the way people drive on that roadway. And one of the residents up there has been kind enough to open his field at $1 a vehicle. And since the Forest Service has closed their lot, then they have a wide open field to park in, that they don't need to park along the roadway to take the chance of getting hurt. And all I'm doing is asking for your all support, the remainder of the commission, to vote these signs in. And the 3 commissioners in District 6, I'm especially asking for your all support in this. I mean, that's the least we can do for this area. Place the signs. Thank you.
Amy Ray,
Yes.
what excuse did the Forest Service give you what he told them to follow?
They don't want that area used that much, that if someone drives up there and that the small area that they have provided to park, that if that area is full, that the tourists will turn around and drive back off the mountain. They're not gonna do that.
Did you think that's fair, that they should close it off?
No, I don't.
Can I, just for a sec, do you know the individual and have contact for the individual who's running the parking at the top of
Yes,
this?
I do.
Can I get that from you when you're finished?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roy. Appreciate it. Ms. McKinney. Please state your name. You have 5 minutes.
Robin McCamey, and I am back again
Is
to,
your microphone on, please?
just need to get closer maybe. Okay, Robin McCamey, and I'm here again to give you the other side of the story and tell you some facts that are going on. Some of the shelter issues we have, when you walk right in, dogs are in crates with signs that say "I bite." This is easy access for kids, which can be a danger to not only the kids, but the public and also the staff. Dogs that are exposed to outside temperatures. I think it's wonderful that we're doing all these wonderful things with vans and cat rooms, but we've got dogs that are exposed to temperatures, and there's tarps hanging that block the heat and the sun from coming in and the cold on the dogs. So we need to look at why we're not doing something for the wonderful little dogs out there. The cat room, last check, there were no cages in there. It's a great, wonderful sized cat room. It's wonderful for the cats, but there's a max number of cats that can be put in the cat room, which are 12. So it might be a little large for that. I'm not sure if someone researched and checked into and talked with the veterinarian that works with the shelter about how that's going to work out, what's going to happen with the cats that can't be in there. Are we going to split that room? You know, Unicoi Shelter has 2 cat rooms to help with that. We also have co-directors that aren't showing up for the shelter meeting. I feel like if you have a title as a co-director, that you should be in on the decisions and things that are happening at the meetings. We appreciate you coming to the last meeting. I have an email from the mayor proving that we have missing documentation. I asked for documentation twice, once in February, once in March, to receive 3 of the 6 items that I asked for. Things that I asked for that I did not receive. No intake days that we're not taking in animals. There's no record of that, according to the mayor. Spay and neuter follow-up reports. You know, are these individuals actually going out and taking their animals to be spayed and neutered? There's no follow-up report. No one's calling, according to the mayor. There's no report there. The LMU contract, I asked for that, but there was not one produced. And according to the mayor, there must not be one, because that's what he stated in his email. I'm happy to share that email. I didn't want to make my packet too large tonight because I know some people had issues with that last time, but I have documentation if you'd like to see it. The LMU trip was canceled due to lack of animals. So those animals didn't get spayed and neutered as we had hoped, and the number just continues to grow and grow. At that point, there were 2 pregnant dogs, one of which miscarried and the other had a very difficult pregnancy and had to have a C-section, which we know if you have an emergency with your animal, it's going to cost you a lot more than just the trip to having it spayed and neutered. I'd like to jump straight into Brother Wolf. Brother Wolf does, I'm fully aware they do some great things, but we need to look at the whole picture, and I think sometimes we fail to do that. We don't always get word for what we want to hear. They only recognize the mayor, and the more and more I thought about this, and I don't think Shannon and Wendy are here, but Miss Susan, Shannon, Wendy, and Miss Mariah are the ones that dug in there and got their hands dirty and really did things and made things happen for the shelter. And I thought it was really sad that we didn't bring them up and recognize them with that award that Brother Wolf gave out. So that leads me to believe that maybe there was some publicity going on there. I don't know. They've been pulling dogs, Brother Wolf's been pulling dogs from our shelter for years. And that came straight from a shelter employee. So I'm not sure this is something new to us, maybe just a little different twist. The trapping of the 80 cats, which turned into 120 because we didn't move fast enough, they've now come back. Now they're asking for fosters for the kittens that were produced while they waited to have that done. The article in the paper praised Brother Wolf and the mayor over the cats that are being now spayed and neutered. Never mentioned Jessica Rogers from Unicoi Shelter, who, along with Mary Lou Eastep, we tracked and took 8 cats, 6 of which were pregnant, 21 kittens. So 8 cats were taken. No mention whatsoever of that happening in that article from the paper. We have a real issue with feral cats, and what I'm finding is no one
Thank you,
wants
Ms.
to take that
McCamey.
issue.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your support.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the commission? Yes, ma'am. If you would, please come forth, state your name. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Brittany Madden, and I just first of all like to say please finish reading the packet that Ms. McCamey has provided to you. There is information in there that is eye-opening, and if you have or need any supporting documents, she'd be glad to provide those to you. I'd like to address a situation that has actually happened to me in the past week and a half that kind of has been an eye-opener. I live in the Kimberg area, I guess you could say, and recently there has been drugs, needles, methadone, that I have found on the side of the road. I live 4 houses down from Kimberg Elementary and right around the corner from Borderview, and there's kids that walk up and down my road every single day. I do not have children myself, but to me this is a major concern. As I always see here vouch for the animal shelter, I really ask you all to think about the budget that has been presented to you for the Carter County Elizabeth Animal Shelter. For the simple fact that with my instance that happened with having to call the sheriff's department and come and remove these drugs, I really feel that that money can go towards other things such as the sheriff's department and our county schools that are needing the money in those aspects, which has been addressed in the budget meeting, which I know you all don't need me to go over. But I highly would like you all to consider just reviewing that and seeing things that we can do, because I know that right now we are a government entity, but we can also become 501c3 and get grants and donations and fundraisers to help cut the cost of the Carter County Animal Shelter and put that money towards things like the Sheriff's Department and the Carter County Schools. I just really feel that that is very important in our situation, because I don't think children need to be picking up needles and methadone baggies in any district. It's a serious problem, and I really feel that it needs to be addressed. So if you could consider that, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Mr. Mayor.
Could you please state your name for the clerk, Brittany?
Brittany Madden.
Brittany Madden.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Could a commissioner have 5 minutes to respond to this?
Well, Commissioner.
Is that legitimate?
Commissioner can, the mayor would like to respond first when all the other public comments are finished, then we get into.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to, if I don't have the authority to speak, I just want to say one thing. I did research the data, and it's garbage. I also look at the first thing I see on today's garbage. Brother Wolf has been pulling dogs for rescue from this shelter for years. Maybe they have, but let me tell you what Brother Wolf requires. They require 90-day holding of any rescued pets, as they did in the Hurricane Matthew and as they did in the flooding in Louisiana. 90 days for the rescue people to try to find the owners of these pets. Now, at the end of 90 days, are they to be euthanized? Nope, because Brother Wolf does not have a no-kill policy. What they did at the end of 90 days was Brother Wolf took these animals to other communities where they had places they could adopt them, and they adopted them out. They did not kill these animals. Some have said, and this comes, go to Fox News. I'm not going to take any more of your time. Go to Fox News. And if you can't believe Fox News, who can you believe?
Thank you, Commissioner Von Kemp. Thank you. Chairman.
Anyway, go to Fox News, pull up Louisiana flooding, and you'll find exactly what I found. That these people are creating a bad image for this community.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And if it's a bad image for this community, it affects us all. It affects us from the standpoint of getting people to come in and look at it.
Thank you, Commissioner Von Kemp.
If I was Brother Wolf, I would never have come back.
Thank you. Thank you.
I see some order in this court.
We've got some
And
order,
been thrown
sir.
out on purpose.
Apparently we don't, or you wouldn't be shouting him down that many times. And I object that commissioners are taking public comment time to rebuke and put down the public. They're here to give their opinion.
He didn't
Whether
let
it's
us,
right or not, we're not here to judge that, we're here to listen.
Commissioner Lyons, sir.
He didn't let me. I was trying to throw him.
Gentlemen. It's over. Mr. Miller, if you would take your seat just a minute, we'll get to you in just a second. Commissioner Lyons, could you come up and take a chair just one moment?
Mr. Mayor, you'll have 5 minutes just like everyone else.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You know, enough's enough, folks. It's time that we bury this animal shelter as far as discussion is concerned. The mayor sat up there and listened to this month after month after month. This information that you have right here, I can tell you right now, we can take line item by line item, and every one of them is incorrect. For instance, dogs in crates, as you walk into the room, the whole message here is, I bite. Yes, we do have some animals that do pose a risk. So you have to properly identify those cages to protect not only our staff, but the citizens that come into the shelter. As far as full capacity, folks, we are not even close to full capacity. We've got about 60 animals total down there, roughly 30 cats and 30 dogs. And when we were at full capacity during the pandemic, when Miss Robinson got on the scene, and from that point on, we had upwards of 200 animals. So if we are at capacity now, we've got a problem. And as far as dogs exposed to the outside temperature, We're not running a Holiday Inn down there for dogs. I mean, we can't set the air conditioning. We've got outdoor kennels and we do the best we can. And believe me, with our operating budget, we'll never have anything more than that. Now, yes, we do have a problem as far as kennel space. And believe me, thanks to the DeLauder estate, we are going to address that as soon as possible, as we can get it through the architects and get the plans online. We've got at least 14 outdoor large kennels that we can move those dogs out from the tight kennels that they're in now. And the main reason for that is they're in 4x5 kennels now, and we want to make 10x20s so that during the day, while we're properly cleaning to eradicate that facility of all the disease that are possible in the shelter environment, we can take those dogs out and put them in those kennels so that they'll have plenty of room to exercise. We can properly clean those kennels and bring them back at the end of the day where they've got a good place to stay. We're doing everything we can as far as humane treatments. And as far as no cat cages, that's ridiculous. There's 14 collapsible cages right now in the buildings down there, just waiting until this room is complete. And that's all that will be in that new addition. There's 1,000 square feet total. And in that large room, we've got plenty of cages. 30 cats, at one time we had 120. So I just want you to know the facts. Most of this stuff is slanted in a certain direction to sway and play upon your heartstrings to make you come down and get involved. And I wish you would get involved. I've been asking for months for commissioners, city council to come down and help us, because at one time there was 2 people down there. One of them was myself, the other one was Miss Robinson. Now, with your help, we have added additional people. Still not adequate number of staff to take care of the day-to-day operation of that shelter 24/7. And as far as LMU trip being canceled due to lack of animals, what due to lack of animals? There was a scheduling conflict. Things happen, folks, between us and LMU. But great news, today, Miss Posada and I took the maiden voyage with the new van to LMU. Took us the bulk of the day. We delivered 21 cats and dogs there to be fixed. Our mission is to take care of these animals and make certain that they're properly addressed before they're adopted out. And as far as Kentucky, we've been beat up over there. Kentucky is another outlet. We are plumbing avenues, pipelines to get these animals out of here as quickly as possible. The longer they stay down there, the less humane treatment they're being given. And just because we're a government agency does not make that we're exempt from mistreatment of animals. We likewise are held accountable to what laws are on the books. So folks, and as far as Brother Wolf, I held that certificate up and I read it. Mr. Berry read it. They not only recognized the mayor, they recognized the entire staff of the shelter and the commission. If you'll look at that, it's laying right in the office now, and the only reason it's not down at the shelter is because we want to wait till we get it complete, this expansion, we get it painted, fixed up, and hanging right there in the lobby for the world to see, because it's a big deal. So, folks, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of great things going on at the shelter, and we are making headway. Miss Posada, her staff, Miss Robinson, and myself, we're putting a tremendous amount of effort to make certain this is the best shelter ever.
Your time is
So,
up.
just take this with a grain of salt. Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Miller.
Everybody knows me as Doc Miller. But if I wait till the end, till Mr. comment, these people are gonna be gone. I can't plead my case to the public if they're gone. How many turned on the TV last week and seen the news? The people in California said it'll never happen here, never happened here. When that man walked in and killed his wife, and that school kid The safety of our school is having a resource officer at our school. I pleaded last month here with a resource. We have people, first thing we start on and see this, drugs. It's not always the drugs. We have people, men on these 30. The least little thing will trigger them off. We have a people emotionally disturbed. More people are emotionally disturbed than they are men. What kicks them off? It may be a divorce. It may be lack of food on the table. It may be lack of medicine. Maybe lack of job. We don't know what's going to kick these people off. But we need to take precautions and take care of our children wherever they may be. I've worked hard this month. Several times I went here and there. We have got a solution for a resource officer for the rest of the year at Little Milligan. I know some of that's going to disagree, that's perfectly all right. But our children up there is the most important thing in our lives. We go to the meal store a lot and we ask people, what do you think about a resource officer? We need protection. I've worked closely with John Hanson this week. He agreed to finish out the school year as a resource officer. And I make a motion on the floor that we use John Hanson up there as a resource officer. Dr. Raycott can explain more to it than that. The law says that we can use an ex-deputy, ex-constable, or a constable as a resource officer. We can't shake our head, folks. It's time that we start taking action. Our children up there is not going to be going to school without a resource officer. Tonight is tonight that we...
Commissioner, I respectfully state that I don't think that motion's in order. Of course, we can get the county attorney to weigh in. The reason being, that school system. County attorney.
We've talked to him before about this, didn't we?
Yes, sir. I think you're correct about the eligibility, but I don't think this commission can just decide to place a resource officer in the school. It has to be the school board and agreement between the director of schools, the principal of the school, and this commission. This commission can't act just on its own.
I went to the school board and pleaded my case. They're not going to do it. Do I have to get a lawyer and bring a lawsuit?
Well, Commissioner, you can do whatever you feel is necessary, but based on my understanding, it would require the school board to take action. This commission does not have the authority to make that decision. Dr. Ward, you're in attendance. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
But I was going to the school board the other day, and they said it's at 6 o'clock, and they moved it to 4 o'clock. But I was pleading my case to the school board.
Okay. Dr. Ward, sir.
I would be happy to address his comments when he's finished.
Okay.
Come up here where I can hear you. But we're not going to...
No motions. No motions at this time because, in my opinion, it's not a proper motion.
You all could vote in support of it if you want to do that, but it's not the final word.
Something's got to be done, boys. Something's got to be done. You know that.
A workshop. Last Thursday, is that when you're talking about, Mr. Last Thursday at the workshop?
Yeah.
It was scheduled for 4 o'clock. That's what time.
Right now, Kelly said it was 6.
Well, we scheduled it for 4 o'clock. But what I have done in the last 2 weeks is Sheriff Lunsford and myself, and even talked to you very briefly at Central Community meeting. Chief Parrish on another occasion with the sheriff. We've talked about the extra resource officer. Now, I will say this, I agree with Doc 110%. in that every kid in Butler County School is first and foremost our first priority. We've got to get them to school safe. We've got to keep them safe at school. And then we've got to get them home safe. There's no doubt about that. I don't deny that. We right now have 14 of our 15 schools covered. And let me tell you how that's happened over the last 7 or 8 and 10 years. The commission stepped up years ago and provided money for us to pick up 6 or so additional. The sheriff's department has chipped in, and the school system on the front end provided 6. So over the years, it's been 3 different funding units that has provided the resource officers that we currently have. And I'm not saying this because, you know, to make less of what Doc's saying, but we've got 14 out of 15 schools. We need another resource officer. I'm 100% agreement. As I've told Doc and I've talked to Sheriff, right now we're in the process of doing our budget. As we do our budget, we've still got a lot of questions. As a matter of fact, last Thursday in our meeting, the only update I could give our board was that the BEP numbers had just come in that day before. There's a lot of questions that we have regarding the BEP funding formula. And as we have the opportunity next Monday, we will have a fiscal and budget meeting with the Tennessee School Board sponsoring. Krista's going, and I won't be there. There's where we're going to get some questions answered about our funding. Now, one of the things that I'd like to be able to look at this commission and say, and also as sheriff and as the chief, and as we've had this discussion, is yes, I want that 15th officer. We're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about $37,000 to $40,000. Now, I think most of that salary and benefit. There's some one-time cost in the vehicle, one-time cost in some equipment, but there's also a big, there's a chunk that is up front for the SRO training that the officer has to go through. Correct, Mr. Lunsford? We have to pay for that.
We can't just protect an officer, make that go out.
So right now, what the sheriff's department has been doing they've been rotating. One in and out of Little Milligan, in and out of Hampton Elementary.
Well, you have one at Little Milligan now.
Yes, sir, you have. Yes, sir, you have.
I keep a close eye on it every day up there, but don't lie to me. And I go right around there.
Okay, gentlemen.
Do not lie to me.
I'm not lying to you, Doc.
Hey, I go by there at every day, and there's not been no resource officer up there.
Well, we've got
But
one.
they rotate them all over the county except Little Milligan.
Right now, we've got 2 or 3 officers.
I'm
One,
done. I'm
which is
done.
off.
I'm done. I'm home. They want to lie, they can lie.
We have an officer that lives there in Little Milligan. He stops by frequently at Little Milligan. Now, he may not be there when Doc drives by, but we do have an officer dropping by Doc. So after it's all said and done, do we need an officer? Yes. The cost of an officer is about less than $0.50 a penny. Now, what I am committed to do as we move forward in our budget, I am looking to see, now this year is very challenging for us. Number one, we've got the insurance that we've got to make up the difference for, and we have been working diligently to do that. We had another building committee meeting today, and as I get more information after Monday, we will be meeting with the board to put our budget on the table. This has been a very trying year. Now, what can we come up with? We're going to look at a piece, and we'd love to be able to share a piece of the funding that we need for this extra officer.
Dr. Ward,
But we will need some help.
I'm sorry, your time's up.
Okay. And,
Yeah, I went ahead and started just when you got the podium. The thing about it is, Commissioner Miller is very passionate about this issue, and I understand that our scope of authority is limited. Now, if you want to amend your motion to send a message of support on behalf of the commission to the school board to, for this.
Month now, school's gonna be out. Will they be a kid in that Little Milligan less than a month now? We don't know. We can't throw paper, wads, and pencils at them when they come in with guns now.
Sir, my question to you, would you want to amend your motion to show support for the added resource officer at school? We have a motion. Second. Any more discussion? Dr. Ward?
can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
You know, this is very important, and this is pieces I don't understand. With county attorney, Mr. Bowers, if you have.
The judge is across the street, but Mr. Hart can help Mr. Hart.
He's married now. If we have a customer, and if they've not been through the SRO training, do we bear liability as a system of using somebody that's not been through the formal training?
Yeah, I think the research that I did for Doc Miller was about the ability of someone to be armed at the school. And there was some scenarios that I talked about last month, and a former law enforcement officer who is an employee of the school can be an SRO if they go through the training like you're referring to. I don't think it's as easy as just sending a constable up there because he has a gun. I mean, there's some additional steps to the process.
So with that, we have a motion duly made to send a motion of support, a level of support to the school board that this commission would like to see an SRO officer at Little Milligan. It's been duly seconded. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. All those in favor respond by aye, those opposed nay. Commissioner Meehan. Motion passes. So Dr. Ward, if you could just send that message on the school board. Thank you. Any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on with the agenda. You have the minutes in your packet. You've had an opportunity to review. Chair will entertain a motion pertaining to. Have a motion by Mr. Lewis to accept. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Dietz. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote, please. Motion passes, 22 ayes. Next item, notaries and bonds. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notaries and bonds?
Cynthia A.K., Louis A. Carter, Laura K. Morris, Sarah Hicks, Alyssa Joyner, Robert Kim, Deborah X. Morton, Steve J. Head, Roy L. Gilbert, Sherry L. Anderson, Johnny R. Julian, Tina Bowers, Trish K. Ronan, Beverly Faye Duggar, Mark Garland, Kristen Waters.
Okay, you've heard the notaries and bonds. Motion made by Commissioner Culler. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Grindstaff. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote. Motion passes. Next item is Road Carter County. Mr. Josh McKinney and others. If you would, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Josh McKinney with United Way of Elizabeth and Carter County. With me tonight are Caroline Hurt, Director of Carter County Health Department, as well as Jason Weems and Terry Henson, both with the Regional Health Office. And we are here representing Grove Carter County, this community's extension of the Healthier Tennessee movement started by the Governor's Foundation for Health and Wellness. First of all, I'll say that we're so grateful for the county's support already of this movement and for our progress with it. And we're here tonight to give you an update on our progress and also invite any questions from you that you would like to know about the movement itself and what you can do to help us succeed in this. This is a movement where groups from all walks of life, all across our great state, band together to improve our health. And in Carter County, we're seeing a diverse coalition of individuals all wanting to do something for our community's health. In Tennessee, 1 in 5 adults smokes, and 1 in 5 high school students uses tobacco. Approximately 34% of the population is classified as obese, and type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure are near epidemic levels. And unfortunately, here in Carter County, the numbers aren't so much better. 24% of all adults in Carter County smoke. About 26% of mothers in Carter County smoked while they were pregnant. 49% of our population lives in census tracts with no access to healthy food. About 32% of our adult population in Carter County report that they participate in no physical activity on a monthly basis during their leisure time. 71% do not consume adequate portions of fruits and vegetables. 35% have high blood pressure, and 32% are obese. And we want to see these numbers trending in a positive direction. And with the Healthier Tennessee movement, we have a remarkable opportunity. Carter County has already been recognized as a community working toward the Healthier Tennessee designation, and we're doing this by making use of the resources provided through the Healthier Tennessee movement to encourage our families, our workplaces, and our places of worship to make small starts in improving their health and turning those actions into habits that will ultimately result in a healthier lifestyle. And the best part is that if we can satisfy these requirements for this movement, the governor will designate Carter County as a Healthier Tennessee community, and this will open the doors for grants and funding to make an even bigger impact in the lives of our residents. In addition, a successful Healthier Tennessee movement for Carter County will inevitably lead to an increase in our health and welfare scores for the 3-star program, which could lead to even greater economic opportunity for our county. We believe this is a big deal for our county. We believe it's a big deal for you as our leaders. And we want to, first of all, even though Caroline is keeping you up to date and she's doing a fantastic job of what's happening, we'd like to invite you or any of the rest of you to participate in our monthly meetings. Also, I or someone else with Grove Carter County would be happy to sit down with you and talk to you about how possibly you could support this movement. There's all kinds of opportunities for you to do that. And finally, we hope that you'll support this initiative and encourage our citizens to participate, sharing it with your fellow leaders and all of the influencers in Carter County who can help us reach this designation. So I'd like to share, if it's okay, an invitation to our meeting along with more information you can pass it around, along with more information about the Healthier Tennessee resources and things available. And at this time, I'll ask, are there any questions? Is there anything else that we can tell you about this movement that perhaps it would help you understand it better or help you understand how you can help us reach this designation?
Any questions at all from Mr. McKinney?
On this healthy food stuff, do we have a representation in the school system?
Do we have a what?
Somebody in the school system that teaches the young about healthy food?
We do have a coordinated, Beth Baer, she's over coordinated care for our schools, and she is in charge of providing our school systems and our different schools with access to resources that teachers can utilize in the classroom. Now, my understanding is that that's not necessarily something that's required, but it is available to our teachers, and from what I understand, many of our teachers are making use of that. In fact, one of the main things that we're doing through this designation is we're encouraging our school systems to make use of the Go Noodle program, which teaches our children about different health and wellness items, and well over 50% of our classrooms, our children, are making use of that. So that's part of this. Absolutely, we'd like to address that. We'd like to continue to educate individuals on healthy foods.
Well, I think if you don't go to school when you're young, then that's a head start.
I absolutely agree, and a movement like this will lead to opportunities where we can have more greater opportunities to educate our children on these issues.
Any other questions?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Caroline.
One of the things that we're doing also, Mr. Lewis, is not only in the classes are we teaching things about nutrition and exercise for the little ones, but also we're really tied in, especially through Healthier Tennessee Communities in Grove Carter County, with the after-school programs. That's where we can really get a lot of work done with those kids. And we do not only the extended school programs during the year, but the summer school programs too. And we incorporate both the nutritional educational sessions. We do demonstrations. We let them put together snacks of their own that are healthy and kind of learn how to use new foods, taste new things, and try to develop some good habits on the front end. You're right. If you start early, that's the best return.
And I should mention as well, we have a health educator, Allison Foster, who goes to all of our school systems, and she goes into the classroom and educates our children on these issues as well.
Any other questions?
Just a comment. I want to thank Mr. McKinney and the group for a well-articulated presentation, and it was clearly understood and very passionate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Caroline.
Ladies. Trustees report, Ms. Gloria and Whitney or whoever want to do the presentation or explanation. Okay.
I am Gloria Cobal from the trustee's office, and what I have in the packets tonight for you all is the properties deleted for 2015, either deleted or exempt, removed from the tax rolls after the taxes came out, or taxes for 2015 that were picked up, added for different reasons for 2015 that were not on the tax rolls.
Any questions for either of these ladies pertaining to the additions and deletions to the tax rolls from October 1, 2015 to March 31, 2017?
How much taxes is going to take up extra this year for it?
This is for 2015. The additions were total, well, it was a total of $17,290. Is what the actual additions were, but now that's just 2015, and that's just changes. That's not telling you what was picked up from 2014 to 2015.
I would like to tell you, my name is Whitney Davis. I work in the property assessor's office, but I have worked in the field the last month diligently with 2 of my coworkers, and we have another 2 that have been working out. Just me and myself and the other 2 that I've worked with. This past month, we have picked up over $20 million in new construction. That means that's $5 million in the tax, appraisals, and your total assessments on that, the funding that you would be getting on our current tax rate is $12,250,000 as of 1 month.
Any other questions?
Just 20 million in new construction, is that residential home?
That is, most of that is residential.
Whitney, can you explain for the folks how you would have picked that up?
Yes. We actually go to the property. I have been a mountain goat for a month. I have had my hiking boots on and my dirty clothes. I have walked up mountains up in Rome Mountain, at the lake. We actually go to the home. We actually measure the whole entire home. If we can go in, we go in it and look and see. We have to count bathrooms, fixtures, and stuff like that, fireplaces. We measure the actual whole square footage of the house, outside, in the rain, snow, however we may be doing it.
Do you find this construction off of permits that have been issued?
Most of them, yes, are permits, but we have found a lot that do not have permits that we've picked up.
So what kind of, just a question, what kind of issues do you have with permitting?
We have a hard time getting city stuff. But as far as just people not getting permits, most of the time they just haven't come in and got a permit for it.
They went ahead and built the house with no permit?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Shouldn't be anything for them to do.
Next item. There's some questions whether or not we vote to accept. I don't think so, but just to be safe, we'll go ahead and do that. Chair will entertain a motion to accept the trustees report with additions completion. Motion made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Mr. Ross Garland. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. All ayes, motion passes. Next item, Resolution A. County Attorney, if you would please read Resolution A.
This is a resolution authorizing submission of an application and acceptance of a litter grant from the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation for the Carter County Litter Grant Program for fiscal year 2017-2018. Whereas Carter County has participated in a litter grant program funded through the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation for several years, whereas the county intends to submit an application for fiscal year 2017-2018 for continued participation in the Tennessee Department of Transportation Litter Grant Program, whereas said litter grant requires a contract for the fiscal year 2017-2018, which will impose certain legal and contractual obligations upon Carter County as in previous years, and acceptance requires the approval of the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this the 17th day of April 2017 with a lawful quorum of said board being present and with the majority voting in the affirmative as follows. Section 1, Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee hereby authorizes the Carter County Mayor, Leon Humphrey, to submit an application on behalf of Carter County for the Litter Grant Program for fiscal year 2017-2018 to the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation. Section 2, that should said application be approved by the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation, the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County hereby authorizes the Carter County Mayor, Leon Humphrey, to execute the contract and any other necessary documents which may be required to signify acceptance of the litter grant by Carter County. Section 3, all resolutions in conflict herewith shall be, and the same are hereby rescinded. Insofar as such conflict exists, be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect from and after the date of its approval, the welfare of the county demanding.
With that, have a motion made by Commissioner Holden, a second by Ms. Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Repeal the vote, please. Unanimous motion.
Community of Carter County as the Lance Corporal Harold W. Wilson Memorial Bridge. Whereas Harold W. Wilson was the oldest of 5 children born to William G. Wilson and wife Ethel Wilson on February 5th, 1945. Whereas Mr. Wilson attended school in Carter County and he excelled in sports, particularly football. During his senior year at Happy Valley High School, he was captain of the football team and he received all conference honors. Whereas following graduation, Mr. Wilson enlisted in the United States Marine Corps on June 19, 1963, and he served his country with distinction, attaining the rank of Lance Corporal. Whereas Lance Corporal Wilson was killed in action on March 21, 1966 in the Vietnam War during a battle with enemy forces in the Quang Ngai province of Vietnam. Whereas Lance Corporal Wilson gave the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. He served with honor while defending our freedom and our way of life so that we could continue to live in peace here at home. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County would like to formally recognize and honor the sacrifice made by Lance Corporal Wilson by adopting this resolution in his honor and requesting that the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation officially designate the bridge located on State Route 67 spanning Happy Valley Road in the Happy Valley community of Carter County as the Lance Corporal Harold W. Wilson Memorial Bridge. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this the 17th day of April 2017 with a lawful quorum of said board being present with a majority voting in the affirmative as follows. Number 1, the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee hereby adopts this resolution honoring Lance Corporal Harold W. Wilson so that we may always remember the sacrifice he made and the price he paid for the freedom we enjoy today, not only as residents of this county, but also as citizens of this great nation. Number 2, that the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee hereby respectfully request the elected representatives for Carter County in the Tennessee General Assembly take the appropriate action on behalf of Carter County to ensure that the bridge located on State Route 67 spanning Happy Valley Road in the Happy Valley community of Carter County is officially designated as the Lance Corporal Harold W. Wilson Memorial Bridge, and to ensure that said bridge shall always bear the name of Lance Corporal Wilson regardless of the future necessity for replacement of said bridge. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect from and after the date of its approval, the welfare of the county demanding. Further resolved that all resolutions of the Board of County Commissioners of Carter County, Tennessee, which are in conflict with this resolution are hereby repealed.
Have a motion made by Ms. Brown, second by Dietz. Any discussion? Mr. Lyons.
I would like to comment if I could, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I had the distinct pleasure of attending high school with Mr. Wilson. I also went to Mr. Wilson's home when he was killed in Vietnam to stand with his family, and it was a very sad occasion, a very memorable occasion, and I can't think of anything else that would be more appropriate than doing what we're doing for Harold Wilson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? Ms. Dietz.
Harold was a student of mine, and I enjoyed the year that I had him in school. And I think it is a great honor that he deserves.
Thank you, Ms. Dietz. Yes.
I've had to talk to Mr. Clayton Wilson. I think some of the family may be here, and all great people I know from my granddad who coached Mr. Wilson, I think in football as well, and teachers, past teachers, and heard nothing but good things about this man. So it'll be good to have that bridge named after this gentleman.
His brother and nephew are here.
If you would, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. Also, to that end, I know Senator Crow's office has worked diligently to get this on the omnibus bill. I've been talking with him at length, and I will, if this passes tonight, which I don't see a reason why it wouldn't, I'll go ahead and get a copy down to them so they can rest assured that their work has, been fruitful. So, and I appreciate, all the support that the family's given during that time. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, if you would proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote. Unanimous.
Chairman, can we take about a 10-minute break?
Let's do one more resolution, sir, and then we'll take that break immediately thereafter. Resolution C, placement of no parking signs on Dennis Cove Road.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I move that we dispense with this reading, but request the county attorney to give a brief on it.
Okay, have a movement to suspend the reading of the resolution. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Meehan, Commissioner Meehan. Any discussion on suspending the reading? On suspending the reading?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They have read two resolutions the mayor, the law has. He should bring in the audience, and the citizens need to know what's in this resolution here.
Okay.
And I think we're making a bad mistake suspending any reading of any resolution because I don't know if it's legal or not, but these people need to know what's in this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Any other discussion on suspending the reading? Commissioner Von Camp.
This resolution is a little out of the ordinary. It involves possibly us and eventually the federal government. Therefore, I think it is pertinent that it be read.
Okay. Anyone else? With that being said, if you're in favor of suspending the reading of the resolution, respond by aye. If you're opposed, nay. Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote. 4 ayes, 20 noes. County Attorney, if you would please read the resolution.
I will. This is a resolution to prohibit parking on Dennis Cove Road in the vicinity of the Dennis Cove Road trailhead. Whereas Tennessee Code Annotated Section 55-8-161 permits a county by resolution of the county legislative body to prohibit parking on a roadway under its jurisdiction when such parking is dangerous to those using the highway or interferes with the free movement of traffic. Whereas the Carter County Highway Committee has studied this matter and has determined that the stopping, standing, or parking of vehicles on Dennis Cove Road in the vicinity of the Dennis Cove Trailhead located adjacent to said road poses a danger to citizens and unduly interferes with the free movement of traffic in that vicinity, and has recommended that no parking signs should be placed in this area. Whereas following said recommendation, the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County has debated this issue and has determined that the stopping, standing, or parking of vehicles on Dennis Cove Road in the vicinity of the trailhead located adjacent to said road poses a danger to citizens and unduly interferes with the free movement of traffic in that vicinity, and that the county road superintendent should cause no parking signs to be placed along Dennis Cove Road in the appropriate locations in the vicinity of the Dennis Cove Road trailhead. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this the 17th day of April 2017 with a lawful quorum of said board being present with the majority voting in the affirmative as follows. Number 1, the stopping, standing, or parking of vehicles on Dennis Cove Road in the vicinity of the trailhead located adjacent to said road is prohibited. Number 2, the Carter County Road Superintendent is directed to place no parking signs in the appropriate locations on Dennis Cove Road in the vicinity of the Dennis Cove Road trailhead using his best judgment so as to reduce the danger to citizens and the interference with the free movement of traffic in that area. Number 3, any actions in violation of the posted signs shall be enforceable by the Carter County Sheriff's Office as a Class C misdemeanor pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated Section 55-8-103. Be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect from and after the date of its approval, the welfare of the county demanding. Be it further resolved that if any clause, section, or provision of this resolution is found to be illegal, invalid, or unenforceable in any respect, the illegality, invalidity, or unenforceability of the remaining clauses, sections, or provisions herein shall not in any way be affected or impaired thereby. Be it further resolved that all resolutions of the Board of County Commissioners of Carter County, Tennessee, which are in conflict with this resolution, are hereby repealed.
With that, we'll entertain a motion. Mr. Hill.
So move to accept.
Motion to accept or adopt the resolution by Mr. Hill, second by Ms. Culler. Any discussion? Mr. Jenkins.
I heard this was a heated debate in the highway committee the other day. It came up eight months ago in this commission, and we voted no for it back then. I understand it's a big economic crisis. I mean, if we start writing tickets to hikers, that they might not come back. But we do have to look at the safety of the people up there. I'm very torn on it. Being in my district and all, I talked to Keith Kelly from the U.S. Forest Service, and they're not going to open up that parking space that they closed down. They're just not. Now, I haven't went any higher up on the food chain. Mr. Hill says that he has, and they might have some answers coming down the road. But as of right now, this is the best solution. I particularly don't agree with it. I have to agree with the people that live there. Ms. Ray, she spoke, she's the one that has called me, and she said something in our town hall meeting about it the other night. And she's called me. That's the only people that spoke to me from Dennis Cove about this issue. No other residents up there has called me. Maybe I can speak for Doc or Johnny that called them. But it just reminds me of the saying, not in my backyard. And until this county turns from that thought process, not in my backyard. I mean, just like Todd Smith up at the trailhead down below in Hampton, he took the same problem, parking all up and down the road down there. He turned a little bit of his yard into a parking lot. And started accepting donations. Which is great. He turned a problem into a solution, and so be it. And then Mr. Whitehead, up there on top, he done the same thing, but nobody's parking there. They're still parking on the side of the roads. So that's two people that said, yeah, go ahead and let it happen in my backyard. That's fine. Let the county grow. So with all that being said, it's a tough issue, and I don't like it, but I do support it because I think it's It's the only option that we got. The Forest Service ain't gonna move on it, guys. They just ain't.
Okay, anyone else? Mr. Peters?
It was mentioned earlier that this gentleman is willing to, or is going to turn some of his property over as a parking area. If we go up there now and put up no parking signs, is it gonna look like that the county is promoting his parking area? I mean, could we give the wrong perception there? That's just a question. It's just something I'm throwing out to think about.
Question for the commission to consider while they're deliberating. Mr. Hill?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first attachment after the 5 pounds of highway committee minutes is an email to me from Mr. Doug Byerly from the U.S. Forest Service. Mr. Byerly is basically the supervisor over this entire district. They have reached out requesting stakeholders to explore. Our intention is to discuss these opportunities with interested stakeholders in May or early June. Matt Fusco will be coordinating this effort. Mr. Fusco is the landscape architect for the U.S. Forest Service. He's the guy that draws out the plans, straights out additional parking, and basically gets after it. I've put together a coalition. My committeeman, Mr. Miller, volunteered at the highway committee meeting as commissioner for the district. Mr. Smith, who came in and spoke about the parking problem at the bottom of the trailhead, is coming in as a property owner. Mr. Bob Peoples, the owner of Kincora Hostel, the Appalachian Trail Hostel, has agreed to come in and advocate for this. But they reached out to us. They're interested in looking for opportunities to fix this problem. In the meantime, we got folks that live up Dennis Cove, and we need to do something. This did come up 8 months ago. There's a sizable hiker bubble that's going to be an ongoing problem. Our district became Appalachian Trail Community number 41. So there will be an elevated number of visitors coming through from the Appalachian Trail, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I did fix a bit of the problem down at the bottom of the trailhead with Mr. Smith. I stopped by Saturday, and they were indeed already starting to pull up in his right-of-way, and he's like, look at that, there they are, you know. And I explained to him the concept of trail magic, which if you Google the Appalachian Trail, it's a thing. And the notion that, you know, people aren't necessarily digging it if you're demanding a payment from them, but you never know what they'll give you. And right at that moment when I was talking to Mr. Smith, a couple of vehicles from Raleigh, North Carolina, pulled in with a Sunday school class who wanted to interact with the Appalachian Trail, parked in the right-of-way, ambled up to this man's porch and asked if they could park there. And he said, you know, pull down here on my empty lot, and we're just a donation, that's all we're looking for. And they gave him $10 a car instantly. So you never know what people will give you, and it's all about the way you present it. And I fully intend to go to the top of the trail and find this person and see if they'll adjust it and make it more of a trail magic kind of model. But in the meantime, I really would appreciate it if we could give these folks in Dennis Cove a little bit of relief. If it turns out that it ends up not being a no parking problem forever, we can actually take the signs back down. Thank you.
Commissioner Trivett.
Mr. Chairman, I have fished Dennis Cove Park all the way down to Hampton for many years, probably 40, 35, 40 years. I've never had a problem with parking there. Never had nothing whatsoever to go down the railroad track and fish. There's a lot of people. The Appalachian Trail goes down through there. There's a lot of people uses that trail. And I know there's a lot of people out of state comes in there that I've talked to down through there fishing. And I'm against it.
Okay. Ms. Culler?
I'd like to withdraw my second after consideration. I would withdraw my second of the motion.
Okay, the motion, the second has been withdrawn. So is there anyone that will second Mr. Hill's motion? Anyone? Seeing none, motion fails. Okay, Mr.?
Mr. Mayor, now, I see this problem on Highway 1021 the other day. I used to own a piece of land out next to this, parking lot there. And all the Forest Service had it done 10 years ago. We took a couple poles down. They got plenty of room going forward with it. Took a couple poles down, moved the poles forward. And probably get 10 to 12 more cars in there. But I'm gonna tell you, this Forest Service ought to get along with it. I've dealt with them. They are. And I had to call Washington on them, had to call Freedom, Tennessee on them. Now, they gave the highway department one thing, but this is the wilderness area we talk about. And they ain't gonna let any automobiles on this wilderness area.
So, thank you, Mr. Lewis. I don't know that there's any need of debating this item any farther. There's no action to be taken for failure to get a second to Mr. Hill's motion, so therefore we'll go into recess for 15 minutes. Let's come back here at 22. If you would, please, take your seat. Please take your seats. Okay, we are now with committee reports. Mr. Garland, can you tell us about the agricultural committee and where we're at with that? Mike?
Right. Hello. Agriculture meeting, we met April 6th, a couple weeks ago, and good meeting. I'm sorry there was no minutes provided. We weren't able to come up with those. But we did cover a variety of topics at the meeting. Introduced a new member, Bobby Blevins. Everything was good with him. And we verified the terms of our existing members. We were having some trouble spreading those down, knowing exactly when farmland and farmwoman comes off. That was straightened out. So that went well, and we set the dates of our upcoming meetings for the remainder of the year, 3 more meetings, and those should be posted on the county website. But the main order of business was to confirm the new extension agent for the county. And Ms. Kathleen Wilson was recommended by the UT Extension through the application process. I think Mr. Von Cannon said it on that. Everyone was well pleased with the candidate, Ms. Wilson. She gave a brief presentation of what she showed at the interviews, and everything went well. She is currently, she's serving in that, well, not currently, she was in that position in Sullivan County, though she is very familiar with that role as the extension agent. Resident of Johnson County, so she's familiar with the territory and the people around here. I think Mr. Keith Hart was going to spend some time with her, show her the territory of this county. Graduate of UT, Miss High School and Miss Hart, they highly recommended her, and they were all happy with the decision. She became a unanimous vote from our committee, and she's very excited about the job now. She's a lady. Really excited to start, and she will begin May 1st. But I would like to take this time to make a motion and seek the full commission approval of Ms. Kathleen Wilson as our county extension agent.
I have a motion made by Mr. Garland to accept the appointment of Kathleen Wilson, and there's a second by Ms. Culler. Any discussion? Commissioner Von Cannon, is there anything you'd like to say?
He had plenty to say at the meeting, I will.
Okay.
I'll throw that in. Always informative.
See, listen.
Certainly.
Okay. With that, the Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. All those in favor of the appointment confirmation, respond with aye. Those opposed, nay. Mr. Lewis is absent. So, Mr. Lewis absent. Okay. Reveal the vote, please. 23 ayes.
Thank you very much on that, and she will start May 1st. We look forward to having her, and she was very excited about taking this position. So that would be good. Ms. Clark has provided me with some 4-H Summer camp registration forms and a pamphlet to go with that. Those camps, junior 4-H camps, grades 4 through 6, will begin June 5th through the 9th. And that camp is in Greenville, that's correct, right? Junior high camps, grades 6 through 8, and that's in July 10th through the 14th. So any commissioners or anybody, here would like a registration form for 4-H, you can see myself or always see their office over there. I'm sure they'll have those. And I will mention Saturday, I guess it's Earth Day, several things going on in the county over here at the Covered Bridge. I know Carter County Crowd's got a kind of a walk through on the Tweetsie Trail to promote awareness for litter pickup, stuff like that. There is a rally, you know what time it starts, Ms. Clark? Maybe 1 o'clock or earlier on the farmer's market. But a lot of good things going on for Saturday, this Saturday coming up. Some good festivities and certainly some good programs and awareness for Earth Day. That's all I got. Any questions from you guys or anything?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Carr, Budget Committee.
You should have gotten your minutes before the meeting, but we did, but you also have your packet from Ms. Trista, so you can follow along in the packet. The first item has to do with the General Fund Budget 101, Amendment Number 8, for a total of $216,806.65 with 15 items, zero amount of money coming from the fund balance, and I'll put that forward for motion.
Have a motion made, is there a second? Second. Ms. Dietz. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote, please. Motion passes. Next item.
Second item, I'll put in the form of a motion. This has to do with the Highway Fund 131, Amendment Number 3, for a total of $335,357.55. That's one item, nothing coming from fund balance. And again, that's in form of a motion.
Have a motion made, second by Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote, please. Motion passes. Next item.
Third item is the General Purpose School Fund 141, Amendment Number 8, for $1,386,422.75 with 8 items. And then there's also an $802,273.75 coming from the General Purpose School Fund balance. And I'll put that forward for motion.
Have a motion made. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Rakecup. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote. Motion passes. Next item.
Next item in the form of a motion is to approve the school food service fund 143, amendment number 2, for $125,000. One item, this $125,000 is coming from the food service fund balance. And again, that is a motion.
Have a motion made, second by Ward. Commissioner Ward, any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote. Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is a motion to approve the debt service fund 151, amendment number 1, for $80,000 with one item, nothing coming from the fund balance.
Motion made. Is there a second? Mr. Lyons, seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal Reveal the vote, please. Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is for the Federal Projects Fund 142, amendment number 4 for $3,000. This will be coming from the school fund.
Additional revenue.
Yeah, additional revenue. Okay, I'm sorry. And I'll put that for a moment.
Motion
$3,000.
made, second by Deets. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Commissioner Akel. And Ms. Deets. Reveal the vote. Motion passes. Next item.
Last item is to put in form of a motion to continue with the Blue Cross Blue Shield as the county medical insurance provider for the fiscal year 17-18 with a 8.65% rate increase for a total of $155,821.10.
Have a motion made. Is there a second? Mr. Lyons in the back.
Ms. Combs, would you repeat the total of that, repeat?
That's $155,821.10.
Any discussion?
Is that the same coverage?
Same coverage, no change, just an increase of 8.65% for $155,000. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote, please. 21 ayes, motion passes.
Thank you, that's all we have.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Grindstaff.
First off, I want to say, apologize for the minutes not being able to get the packet. We had some snafus over there. They will be in the next packet. Hopefully we'll get that resolved. Somebody was short. I said, unfortunately, we weren't able to get the minutes from the last meeting into the packet. We had a couple of snafus there. And so hopefully they'll be in the next packet as well as the current minutes for that committee. What we do have is, I'm just going to give you an update. The RFP was published for the old jail, the demolition for the old jail. That's to advertise and have individuals come in and provide that proposal for that demolition services. We're looking to have that back pretty quickly and have that to you all. We were also, Gary Smith also come up to us and talked to us a little bit about ADA compliance for all the county buildings. It was discussed that him and Billy Harrell would be walking around, be going through the different buildings and actually doing a compliance survey. He could actually give me some more if he had any questions about that. That's something that we are required to do. We're required to have the survey, and required to take any remediation that, that survey does when acting. Also, the courthouse security has been a hot topic. We were able to complete a preliminary walkthrough and get some preliminary figures on those. We'll be providing those figures at the courthouse security meeting, which is on Thursday at 6 o'clock. 3:30. I can't remember. I'm bad at times. We will be providing those numbers, and I will have something for your packets for the next go. And we actually have a voting matter that we took up, the dog tag brigade, the parking spots. We have brought that to the full commission during the last full commission meeting. We sat down, Mike Hill did a wonderful job talking to these individuals, getting us information on these groups, and actually speaking with the office holders. We were able to nail down parking spots at the election commission, the highway department, planning and zoning, and the sheriff's office. Those four offices will be provided with a Purple Heart parking space, courtesy of donations. And I make that in the form of a motion that we accept those and allow that work to be done.
Second.
We have a motion made. Is there a second? Second by Collard to allow the installation of the Purple Heart signage at these four locations as outlined. There's also consideration at the courthouse at a later date, once we complete the ADA and the like.
Yeah, that's correct. There was one for the courthouse that we had sat down and looked at. Unfortunately, because of the ADA audit, the compliance audit, we're wanting to go ahead and have that compliance audit, and then go ahead and address the Purple Heart parking space as that compliance audit finishes.
Okay, any other discussion on that matter? All those in favor of doing these installations, respond by aye. Those opposed, nay. Mr. McQueen, confirm, please. Reveal the vote. Motion passes. Also, along those lines, it's my understanding with some of the discussion that came up, and I've talked with the people there as well, there's another sign for all veterans. It's a little different color. It's a very attractive sign with all the branches, so that would be something for consideration too at some point. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, would you like to add anything at all to the full body pertaining to what you're confronted with as far as this survey is concerned?
Yes, sir. About October of last year, I received a letter from TDOT stating that, or asking if we had conducted an ADA survey for every single building in the county. Well, I originally received a phone call from First Tennessee Development District on that, and that was about October of last year. Told them I had no idea, had to research it. After research, I can't find any evidence that an ADA survey has ever been done on county buildings. In November of last year, we received a letter from the state informing us that that we have a time frame that we must complete that ADA survey, and we have to have a transition plan in place telling how we're going to correct any deficiencies by September of 2018. And that sounds like a lot of time, but it's actually not, because we have to go through every single building, and the checklist is about this thick that we have to use. There's only 2 of us, and one of the things that we had discussed was the possibility of maybe hiring someone else to come in and assist us with that. And of course, that would require your approval. With that, I will entertain any questions that you may have.
How many buildings do you?
I don't know how many buildings there are. I know there are a lot, because this includes the schools, everything. This is every single county-owned building that we have.
It's a monumental undertaking on our part, and it's obvious right now we don't have staff that can dedicate the time to do this study. So I've asked Mr. Smith to reach out to the consultants and get some estimates. And once we get those estimates, we'll bring it back to this body, because we don't want to wait until within a few months of the deadline. We'd like to be very proactive and go ahead and get started, and it is going to require some professional assistance. Okay?
Any other questions? All right,
thank you. Yes, sir.
I'll add to that. We did talk in the committee about, looking for grant funding opportunities and things of that nature to assist with the cost. However, speaking with the mayor, speaking with Mr. Smith, we do feel that those grant opportunities, if they exist, are probably few and far between. I believe that's correct. So unfortunately, we did kind of explore that avenue. Mr. Smith's continuing to look. We do feel that those are kind of few and far between.
And one thing before I totally stop on this, just emphasize the importance of this. If we do not get that transition plan approved by you and the city council by September of 2018, we are ineligible to receive any TDOT grant funding until that's done.
Which is not an option, folks. It's just not an option. It's got to have it. So Roger can speak to that nonetheless. We need to be proactive, and hopefully next month we'll have some estimates, and we'll come back to you and we can go ahead and put together a proper plan. Also pertaining to buildings and grounds, just for your information, there will be a bid opening tomorrow for the expansion at the health department. So got my fingers crossed, hopefully it'll come in close to what the estimates were. We won't know until we get those. The moment we do, we'll get the word out to you so that we can proceed with that project. I know you've already committed to X number of dollars for that project, and we'd like to get it started as quickly as possible. It's just one of the many success stories that we've been able to initiate here over the last 2.5+ years, so that'll be a good deal. Okay, Education Committee, Mr. Ward.
I want to start off by saying how many people are excited in here. We all should be excited. All the positive things are happening in Carter County. You know, our Ideals group just put forth our first pocket park. A lot of good things going on. You know, what makes me more exciting is children, our kids. You know, we got to interact with kids at Central the other day. One of the students got to come up and speak to us and tell us how much she enjoyed being able to be part of a group to put together robots. And they did a demonstration for us. For you commissioners that wasn't able to attend, I highly recommend that you guys come out and support our committee, because you will learn a lot from those individuals. You know, that's why we are all here, I hope, is for our kids. So, again, I'd like for everybody to start coming to those if they possibly can. Our next meeting will be at Unaka High School. It'll be on Thursday, the 4th of May. So I really appreciate if you guys could attend. We did a meeting at Central last month, or this month, and we did the robot demonstration, which was awesome. We had a video on the race car that was designed by Hampton High School. And they did a solar go-kart that was going about 37 miles an hour. And if you guys would like to get out and see that, on May the 8th, they're going to do it on the racetrack in Bristol. And how exciting is that? I mean, our kids get to compete against other kids on the biggest racetrack in this area. It's awesome. So it starts, I think, at 9 o'clock, if I'm not correct. So I really would appreciate you guys to come. We also had a group called JAM come out, Junior Appalachian Musicians. They talked about getting our kids involved in music, because, you know, everybody knows music is a real fundamental thing of education. Teaching our kids how to play string instruments, it's a good thing. We had a workshop, quarterly workshop, and I think it went pretty well for the commissioners who got to attend. We got to see the surveys of the study for the salary. And if anybody needs copies of this, I'll be happy to get it for you, showing how much we are underpaid with our staff. We had about 100 people come to Central. That's pretty good for a first meeting out in the community. And like I said, we really appreciated some of the other commissioners to show up and show their support for us. The next school board meeting will be April the 20th. They'll be voting on to give the land that we've already cleaned up to the Park and Rec Department. We appreciate the school system for doing that. And then the only thing else I've got to say is if Dr. Ward has anything he wants to add to anything I've said tonight.
Just except for, you know, with the compensation study that we've been working on, I guess, for planning for over a year now. Larry Russell, he started in January, completed the study about a few weeks ago, just put the final pieces together, did a presentation at the meeting Thursday night, as Danny said. What he did, the way this study was conducted, was he took 25 counties from, I guess, Middle Tennessee all the way up through Northeast Tennessee. And as he conducted this study, part of the statistics that he did come up with the average wage for, say, example, Carter County, and a custodian or a cafeteria worker was, he took out the top 25% and he took out the bottom 25% to get the bell curve pretty tight and in line. So the copy of the study, I have copies, and be happy to get those to you and share those with you. But just for example, I think the average for a custodian was was to understand that full implementation of getting these averages up to where they need to be for the cooks and all the professionals is $400,000+. And I know that that's a big request. I'm not standing here saying that we're going to come to you and say we'd like to have this $400,000, but there's got to be a time and place that we would have a conversation and try to look at getting a start. If the start is just, $50,000 to try to get moving over a period of 5, 6, 7 years. I do understand the finances are tight, and I do understand that our people, are paid very low. And as we have looked at this study, it's pretty much confirmed what we've already stopped. Now, I'm talking on behalf of the school system, as it relates to the other county agencies and departments. If the commission ever decided to do a study and look at those wages, I'm sure you're going to find the same thing. But it's like a cat eating a mat. One little bit at a time. I know $400,000+ is not feasible. It's not affordable, but you got to start somewhere. And I'd like to have some time. Our board will discuss the study more in detail in May's workshop, so invite you to come to that workshop if you'd like to. We'll send out the dates and time. I'm sure you know when that is.
Dr. Ward, quick question. As far as your assessment of Mr. Russell, what's your overall feeling as far
Very
as?
professional.
Okay.
Very thorough. I got to know Mr. Russell pretty good, and got to understand. He's actually works in a position in Superior County as an actuary, and basically this is what he does.
Right.
He's a statistician. He's one that can take numbers and pull out the highs and pull out the lows and try to get that bell curve where he looks at this particular Carter County's what the average wage should be for these people working the various jobs that they work. So I was very impressed with him and his work.
Well, I'm just curious because, 2+ years ago, my office did the research and we recommended Mr. Russell based on our interview of multiple systems throughout the state of Tennessee, and we referred that to Budget Committee. And I think you were in that meeting. We got an estimate for a school system, and I really appreciate you taking the stance to take that before school board and them taking action on it. Like you said, we got to start somewhere.
Let's start somewhere. Mr. Mayor, it's a working document. What we have now is a piece of information that is actually something that we could work. It's a continuous year in, year out working document to try to get these wages up. And, we're surprised in some places what we did in that, some of them was fairly equal. Some of them was off quite a bit. So I was very impressed.
Thank you.
Well, from the Education Committee, all I want to say is get excited, get involved, but you can make a difference.
I do have a question concerning the survey and comparison. Are they just looking at the wages per hour, or are they looking at the total compensation package with benefits or something?
Dr. Ward, I think Commissioner Holder has a question for you pertaining to the study that was done by Mr. Russell.
When the actuary is looking at the numbers, is he looking at just the wage per hour, or is he looking at the total compensation package with benefits and so forth?
No, when he's looking at the numbers, I think that was a question asked in the session we had with the Vice President. He is looking at pretty much just the wages of what our workers are paid on an hourly wage. Now, as far as when he was asked that question, some of you guys that was at that meeting, there's a whole separate study involving compensation packages. But I will tell you this, Peggy, my assistant director, has done a little study of her own just by polling some of the local systems around us. And we are very similar in nature, or have benefits that pretty much are just about mirror each other as far as compensation packages. We're back in partnership with health, most of them will partner with health. So our benefits, as they match up, are very close to Orange County, Greenville, Washington County. So it is a little bit.
By the way, another thing I'm excited about, it's gonna be a short meeting.
Financial Management, Commissioner Lyons.
I don't have anything, Mayor, to add to the minutes, unless someone has questions. I have no motion.
Okay, anything from Mr. Lyons? Seeing none, let's move on to Health and Welfare, Mr. Holden.
We only had one item that we spoke about, that was the litter grant, which we already had the
We've already acted. Thank you, sir, appreciate that. Highway Committee, Mr. Hill.
Yes, sir. We will be having a public hearing on deeding back pieces of an unopened county alleyway and adopting rhododendron lane possibly to the county road list next meeting, which will be second Monday at 2 p.m. at the Highway Committee, Highway Department. And the only other thing, I have a motion on behalf of my committee's recommendation. The last page, the last attachment of the highway minutes is from Tysinger Hampton and well, I think, TH&D anyway, to give Mr. Colbach permission to move forward with the bid process on a bridge replacement. And I'll defer the rest of my time to him. I'll make that motion, or put that in the form of a motion, and then defer the rest of my time to him to explain it.
So TH&P, Tysinger Hampton and Partner, $995,986. Motion made to proceed with that to allow road superintendent. I can see a second. Second by Mr. Jenkins. Now, discussion. Mr. Caldwell, is there anything?
This financial bridge on the state list for state aid, with the 98-2 split, we only pay 2% of it. We want to take this into the engineering also, and the requisition of the property. It's the next bridge on the list, so we cannot skip it, we have to do it. And the estimate of it that you have is from Tysinger Hampton, it could be lower or more. I'm hoping for lower than that. But it's in Rome Mountain, it's the main street of our,
And Mr.
concrete, steel bridge concrete bridge, beam bridge with about 70 foot. It's got a 5-foot sidewalk on it also.
And the superintendent's been working on this actually before he actually took office, this list of bridges. So working with Representative Hill, who made it possible with this in the General Assembly, it's a great opportunity for us. So any other discussion? Mr.
Will the bridge also include a pedestrian walkway like the present?
Yes, sir.
5-foot walkway. It does have.
Okay, any other discussion on this matter? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Motion passes. Next item, sir.
The only other thing I have, at the meeting, the resolution for the no parking designation in Dennis Cove didn't pass with only one voting in the negative. So it was a 7. Actually, we were short of it. It was a 6-1 in our committee.
You would think that one of those people that voted in support of it would at least have seconded your motion, Mr.
I really kind of would have, sir. That's kind of where I was headed with that.
They've taken some consideration since and changed their mind. We all have that right. Okay, now, Landfill Committee, Ms. Dees.
hopefully everyone on the landfill and the education committee got word that we've changed our meeting from Monday night to Thursday night, in May. So that'd be May the 4th, I believe. I just want to be sure everyone that's on the committee realizes that. On May the 13th, we're having our household hazard waste collection at the recycling center. And you may see some posters around. Benny has, I think, some extra posters. If there's anyone who'd like to put one in their community, at the store or something like that, he's been out putting these in the city. But it starts at 9 o'clock and goes until 1 o'clock. And Benny would like for a lot of you commissioners to come by and see what's happening on that day. Of course, this is a state. The state comes in and collects it. And it tells you on the poster what you can bring: automotive and marine products, home maintenance and improvement products, home lawn and garden products, chemicals, miscellaneous things are photo processing chemicals, medicines, aerosols, compressed gas, mercury thermometers, and fluorescent light bulbs. All of those can be brought at that time. So just pass that word on. By the end of this week, Benny will have used his grant, recycling grant, to buy 6 new roll-off tubs. He'll have those ordered. And his oil grant, he will be ordering an oil transport trailer. Will be purchased with that. Anything else, Benny, you want to add?
No, ma'am.
Any questions?
Ms. Deeds?
Yes.
What about the curb up there going to the landfill? You know, we voted to earn so much money to buy that property, to cut that curb down. Is, Benny, can you give us a report on that?
I've not really been dealing with that. I think you control all that. Last I heard, it was more than, what they was asking was more than what it was praised for. So I don't really know.
Roger?
I talked to the property owner, she's having on the appraisal done. We talked about management, and she hasn't got back with me on that contact. Hopefully, we might be able to set her appraisal if this limits what we pay.
Do I understand that we cannot pay more than it's appraised for?
5% more than.
Okay.
I might add, this boy got hit on a bicycle and broke his leg up there Saturday. That curve.
Okay, any other matters, Ms. Deeds?
Real quick one, on the, if you do take a paint can, I know it's unacceptable as liquid form. If you took half a can out there and opened it up, can it dry out and take it down there?
You can't bring it there. They don't know paint this year. I talked with them today, they will accept oil-based paint, we have to store it until they can come back and get it. As far as latex paint, you can dry it out with cat litter, sawdust, open the lid, pour some in it, and it'll become solid.
Yeah.
Once it becomes solid, you throw it in regular trash.
So Benny, if they bring them that day, I guess what I'm asking, if they bring those paints that day, can you segregate them and hold them at a different location?
The only thing we can segregate is oil-based. We can't deal with latex because they'll actually come and take the oil base from us once we, on a later date, they'll come back to deal with that.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Lyons?
I just want to clarify, where could we get one of the posters? Okay, I'll look at one.
Any other items from Ms. Deeds?
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McQueen, Law Enforcement.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, briefly, thank you to the Sheriff and to Commissioner Grindstaff for their work building around on the courthouse and the second floor of the old jailhouse. The work they're doing there is great. I wasn't able to attend the last meeting due to illness, so I will yield what happened there to the Vice Chair of the committee.
Okay. Vice Chair of the Commission, or to the Law Enforcement Committee, do you have anything you'd like to add? None? Okay, thank you. Next item.
Sheriff's wants to share.
Sheriff,
Quickly, April 29th, from 2 a.m. to 2 p.m., we'll have a drug take back things to the jail there in front. So, prescription medication, the other medications that you have, anybody has, please bring them by, we'll take them to the variable. So April 29th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Six. April the 29th, do you have any?
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m., just take the sheriff's department. Okay. Nominated, Mr. Meehan.
If I can, Mr. Chairman, also report on the beer board.
Yes, sir.
The nominating committee met on April 10th, and the issue was the appointment of 2 people, reappointment to the equalization board vacancies. Is there anyone here from the tax office? The 2 names were Deborah Jarita Sands and Barbara L. I thought it was Hyder. They have Hyder. Anyone know?
It's Hyder.
Hyder, as in Delta. So I'm going to put it in the form of a motion. I think we'll handle them separately, to support the appointment as recommended by the nominating committee of Deborah Jarita Sands to the equalization board.
Okay, we have a motion. Did you make that form of a motion, sir?
Form of a motion.
Motion made, seconded by Commissioner Trivett. Any discussions pertaining to the appointment of Ms. Sams back to the equalization board? Seeing none? Yeah.
I do have a question. What are the requirements to be on this board? Are there any educational requirements or?
There is a class that will be taught here in a couple of weeks each year. It's a requirement. This board sets for approximately 2 weeks, starting I think in June, and it gives the property owner an opportunity to come in if they feel that there's a problem with their appraisal or assessment through the county. They can come before this board and plead their case.
They meet the first 2 weeks of June.
I might add, Ms. Sams worked in the tax assessor's office for years.
And she currently serves on that board. Her term is up, and so is Ms. Hyder. But nonetheless, any other discussion pertaining to the appointment of Sams to equalization board? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. All those in favor respond with aye, those opposed nay. Reveal the vote.
Okay, the second appointment will be Barbara Hyder, and I put that in the form of a motion to support that appointment.
Is there a second? Second by Ms. Culler. Any other discussion, or any discussion pertaining to the appointment of Ms. Hyder? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Reveal the vote. Next item, sir.
So that
Motion passes.
concludes the nominating committee unless
Okay.
anyone has any questions. The Carter County Beer Board met on March the 30th. I want to reiterate that is a dry board, and just like this meeting is getting. The primary business was the renewal. Did somebody just finally get that?
Mr. Meehan, the reason it's dry, there's been no points of order tonight.
Really started.
Go ahead, sir, go ahead.
Well, you have me so flustered, I forgot what we were talking about. It was a consideration of, there was a purchase of the Roadrunner markets by another, they were an acquisition by another company. So by law, they had to change the name on the beer license. So it was sort of a formality, and the ones that the county affected was Roadrunner Market, 6022 located at 4953 Highway 19E in Hampton, and the other was the Roadrunner Market 6066, located at 525 Highway 91 in Hunter community. So they were approved unanimously, and there were no issues raised. Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you. Mr. Jenkins, Parks and Rec and Rules and Bylaws.
Parks and Rec, the biggest project, it's the Hampton Landing, and I just want to take this opportunity on behalf of the 6th District of Carter County, and I just thank everybody involved. I was up there, Doc was up there first thing, he beat me up there. We worked for a few hours, got a lot accomplished, and it's just amazing what can happen if the community comes together. So, Parks and Rec, we'll keep on. Other than that, rules and bylaws, we're working on a lot of different stuff. No action tonight. We're working on public records policy that was from the comptroller's office. Some that we'll be seeing in the next couple of months. We're tweaking a vacation policy, but other than that, no action.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any committees that I failed to call? County Attorney, floor is yours.
All right. Start off with the litigation update as usual. Little good news this month. Long-standing litigation that we had with Carter at Maine and Ms. Whitehead regarding the trimming of the trees. That has been settled, and that lawsuit has been dismissed. And there'll be ongoing coordination about tree cutting in the future, I hope. I think that was part of the settlement.
Yes, sir. We'll be asking that you
Okay.
on notice.
Okay.
soon.
County delinquent tax sale. For the 2014 tax year, we had that sale on Friday, April 24th. Not April 24th, March 24th, sorry. Anyway, March 24th, we had that sale. 28 parcels were sold at the sale, and I've got some numbers here I'd like to read. Of course, as you know, folks wait till the 11th hour, if you can consider 2 years late the 11th hour, to pay their taxes. So that entire month, well, the actual day of the sale, the total collected for the county in taxes and interest and penalty was $28,647.91. We also collected just over $9,000 for the city of Elizabethton, who joined in, and folks who had unpaid city taxes. However, significant amount of taxes were paid out the month of March leading up to the sale, which always occurs. So the total for the month of March, which gives you a more accurate reflection of what we accomplished there, was for Carter County $62,452.66 in uncollected delinquent tax revenues. As always, of course, I helped in that sale along with Ms. Moreland, the clerk and master, whose office is great in that and provides a lot of assistance. And I want to reiterate, as I do every time I talk about this, what an undertaking that is. It's a huge amount of work. When we start these lawsuits, there's hundreds of folks, hundreds of parcels. Service has to be prepared, summonses, everybody has to, I mean, it's in essence, 400 to 500 individual lawsuits. And we're held to the standard as if it were one lawsuit against one person, each and every parcel. So it's a huge amount of work, and I want to again say I appreciate her and her office. They're great to work with in that. And along that vein, there's been some miscommunication or things that I've heard, at least people feel that there's some sort of exorbitant fees being made by the clerk's office in that process, and that's not true. The clerk doesn't make a commission on those sales. And as far as the actual amounts collected, what I've given you is the amount owed to Carter County. Now the sale generates a much higher amount. I mean, we could sell millions of dollars worth of property, but all we get is this, what I've given you. The rest of it is excess proceeds. It's either claimed by creditors, the owners of the property, or it goes to the state as unclaimed funds. We don't get to keep that money. So just so everybody understands, the numbers I've given you is what the county was due and what the county collected, and anything else we don't get.
So with that, Ms. Moreland, could you just give us an update? I know in the last 4 years, your office and all the people involved, county attorney, have worked diligently to take care and get these delinquent properties up to speed. Could you just let them know where you're at now and compared to where you were 4 years ago, roughly?
We have sold 7 years of delinquent taxes in the last 2.5 years. We right now only have the 2015 delinquent taxes. Everything else has been sold. We have one property owner that's in bankruptcy, which we can't do anything with until they come out of bankruptcy.
Well, I think that's a great job, because when I came on board here 7 years ago, it was way back, and they put forth the initiative, the effort, and they've done a remarkable job. So I think we should give them a hand, and all those parties. Well, Chancellor played a big part in it. You know, we had discussions early on, and we appreciate that, but there had to be someone there to drive that. Then there had to be, once the decision was made, we had to have the people on the ground, boots on the ground to do it, and you were those boots to make it happen, so thank you.
We will be having a delinquent property tax sale every year in March.
That's great.
That will be a standard year, so
It's wonderful.
we'll be selling the 15s next March the 22nd, I think.
Okay, next item, sorry for interruption.
That's fine. That is the next item. I filed that delinquent tax suit for 2015 on March 31st. So like Ms. Moreland said, we're going to have one sale each year. We're as current as we can possibly be. 2015 suit was filed, like I said, less than a month ago. There was 360 parcels in that lawsuit at the time it was filed. And some folks have paid since then, so it's whittling down as we speak. But once again, it's a huge undertaking. Okay, that's it with litigation. As far as other work, this month, as always, anybody who asks for a county official or office holder opinions and research. I attended various meetings this month, animal shelter, animal control. We had a meeting about the Sheriff's Office and the implementation of the animal control officers. I think that was an initial meeting, and there's work ongoing there. Law Enforcement Committee, animal control resolution is underway there. Health and welfare, we did the litter grant resolution, rules and bylaws, the vacation leave policies in the works. Financial Management Committee attended there. Highway Committee, of course, the bridge resolution for Mr. Wilson tonight. I have prepared the quitclaim deed for the conveyance to the from the Carter County School Board for the Hampton Doe River property. And as far as I understand, Mr. Banks with the school board has all he needs, and that's going to be considered, I think, Thursday. Drafted an MOU for the EMA office this month about emergency evacuations, MOU with the city about work on a baseball field, Little League field, of course, the beer board committee. The last item that I have tonight is the excess property sale that was conducted. I reported back to you last month about the sale. Since that time, during the 10-day raised bid period, 12 of the 14 parcels had raised bids. So we had a bid off on the 13th of this month and brought in significantly more money than we had at the beginning. The total funds for all 14 parcels, we have 14 parcels authorized, $29,100 was the amount acquired for all those. And in that vein, I've submitted to you all, and I hope everybody got it, the final report of that sale. There were, out of the 14 parcels, only 4 of them had the reserve set that we had initially came before you all on. So that means 10 of those parcels did not bring the full reserve amount. So in order to finalize those sales, we need the Commission's approval to sell them for the reduced amount that we obtained. Now, as you all know, some of these parcels we've held since the 80s, and I don't believe at this point there's any use for any of them. So my recommendation would be that the bids be approved on all parcels, and we can get these back on the tax roll.
I think that's the intent. I have a motion made by Commissioner Meehan, second by Mr. Jenkins. Any discussion? I would like to comment, I'd like to appreciate the work that the county attorney's done on this. He's narrowing that list. We started initially with 35 parcels, and we're getting it down, so putting them back on tax rolls. Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. All those in favor respond with aye. Those opposed, nay. Reveal the vote. Unanimous. Okay. Any other items?
That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner comments? Doc?
I'm still after my report. I know we're going to drag and drag, and I hope I'm going to make this motion through. Can I make a motion to this? People here, that we freeze all access to the sheriff's department and the school department, their funding, till this issue is solved. They'll go to work in the morning to get me a resource officer. We freeze those funds. Now, folks, our kids are just as important as anybody else. 14, 15 schools. We have to worry about our kids, but these people don't. I'm begging you, let's freeze these assets, money, till our resource officer is fixed. That's the only fair way to do it. They'll go to work in the morning, they won't drag it out. Because you guys get that, don't have to worry about doing your children, or grandchildren, and great-grandchildren like I do. And the only way we're going to do it is to freeze the access money to the school system and the sheriff's department till this is solved. Did I make the motion right?
Commissioner Miller has made a motion to, yeah, believe me, I share your compassion, about protecting children. But he's made a motion to freeze the assets of the sheriff's department school system. Is there a second?
I second. You're my leader.
Have a second by Mr. John Cannon. Okay. Now we're in discussion. Finance Director Byrd, first.
I would hope this is unnecessary, but just so you all know, if you do this, that means there is no school tomorrow. There are no sheriff's deputies on the roads effective immediately. He calls them all back and says, we have no way to pay you, come back here and sit back down.
Okay.
That's what your vote, that's what the motion is.
That's a very powerful statement. Does everyone understand what Finance Director Byrd has just stated pertaining to this motion?
May I?
Sheriff.
I want you all to understand how great an SRO program we have in Carter County. We have the best SRO program in the state of Tennessee. It competes with, no one competes with it. Another sheriffs and other superintendents of schools want to find out how to start an SRO program. They come to me, they come to him. To give you an example, Sullivan County has 4 SROs. Washington County has 5 SROs. Unicoi County has 1 SRO. Johnson County has 1 SRO. And Greene County has 4 SROs. We have 14. We have the best SRO program, the best managed SRO program in the state of Tennessee. And if you want me to go home at 8:40, we'll do it.
We have a motion duly made and seconded.
I think, Chris, can you repeat that one more time? I don't think, did you hear what she said?
Ms. Byrd, could you please?
Come over here.
Come on over here.
I can say something too.
That would be, right now, the sheriff has to call all his employees and tell them, we don't have any money to pay you. You have to stop working.
Well, I should say something.
Dr. Ford will have to cancel school tomorrow. Not only will there not be school, those children, that is their only source of food throughout the day. They will not be fed tomorrow.
Well, can I ask you a question? You're a mother. All over the schools have resource officers, but you want to send your kids? Huh? As a mother now, as a mother.
Go ahead and answer,
dress up and do the answer that.
It is picking on not another.
Okay, with that, Commissioner Miller, I think she's answered the question. I think county attorney wants to weigh in too, and then we'll take the vote here in just a minute. Because we want to make certain that the motion duly made and seconded, have every opportunity. County attorney.
Yes, sir. Well, I don't know if I want to, but I think I have to caution you all about the potential for litigation from both the sheriff's office and the school board if we immediately freeze all funding, and I would caution you about our position in that litigation.
Any more discussion? Yes, Commissioner Carroll.
May I say that I appreciate everything that Sheriff Lunsford said, and he has the best SRO program in the state, except for Little Milton.
Okay? Yeah. Okay. One at a time, folks. Commissioner Lyons, I think.
Commissioner Miller, you know how much I respect you.
I hope you do.
I do. And this motion is really going to be devastating to our county. And I know that's where you, let me finish, sir. I know that's where your heart is as well. I know you as a commissioner. I know your heart's to your community and to Little Milton Schools. But I wish there was some way that we could continue to negotiate, you and the sheriff and Dr. Ward, to come up with somewhat of a solution so we don't shut the county down and come up with the liability issues that our attorneys are, and even get Attorney Hart involved in trying to solve a lot of this stuff. Is there any way that you would consider
Do you have grandkids? Do they go to the school? What do you read something out?
Elizabeth Elementary School is not a result.
Okay. With that, gentlemen, I just don't want to get too deep in the weeds here. Commissioner McQueen, and I've got two guys back here. Commissioner McQueen.
Without going too far into it, it seems that the main debate is...
Commissioner Miller, if you would please, Commissioner McQueen, we need to give him our undivided attention.
The main debate is over the SRO and the money that's involved. It's merely a budgetary item. I don't think that there's any way that we could take a stand here tonight to shut everything down. It's just not logistically possible. But if there is something to be debated, it is if the money is available or if we should make that money available. So I would urge Commissioner Miller to direct his attention towards the finances of it, because that's where we're really at with it.
Okay, Commissioner Grindstaff. I don't know which one of you two, you know.
My only question is this. The sheriff is a constitutional office as far as the Tennessee Constitution. They have a duty and a requirement to provide public safety for the county. That goes over, the city. The city has requirements by public safety for the city. So when you're talking about cutting off public safety, basically telling call center, telling 911 whenever those calls come in, I'm sorry, we have no officers to respond to your domestic violence or to your shooting or to your, lost and missing person or to your runaway kid. The same thing for the schools tomorrow. Ms. Krista touched on the fact that she, most of those kids only get to eat twice a day, breakfast and lunch. My only concern is, especially on the public safety side, is does that not set us up as a liability? Does that not bring liability on us if we vote and we say no? There are no more sheriff's deputies to respond to any calls tonight or tomorrow or until Monday, until the next commission meeting. Could that not liability fall back to us, not just as a body, but as individual commissioners for voting yes in favor?
Commissioner Ward.
This is a touchy subject. I'm going to address this toward Dr. Ward and the sheriff. Is there any way?
We have talked for a year, we've been trying to solve this problem, but some people won't listen to reason.
What I'm getting at is, can we share?
You cannot share SRO. And because there's family problems involved in schools, there's children, issues involved in schools, you can't take an SR and send it somewhere. And what he's not telling you is, just like Thursday, there was four police officers at Little Building School for 4 hours Thursday. I was one of them, I didn't see what there. There was 4 of us. There's police officers up there from time to time. And if you were to tell me right now, if you were to give me $50,000 to hire SRO, it would take me 6 months to do it.
Well, can I make a suggestion? Can we have, we don't have to call an SR. We just put a deputy up there, no.
Can't do that, because the more you won't be taken from, you won't be taken from courts, you won't be taken from patrol. But we,
I feel
me and Dr. Ward, yes, I went to school for that.
Oh, okay, gentlemen, enough exchange.
Question on the motion.
Enough exchange, question on the motion. Dr. Ward and Sheriff, one question, if you will allow, Commissioner. You said it takes 6 months to get SRO in place. How many more weeks of school before we're out for the summer? Dr. Ward?
Just have 6 weeks.
6 weeks. So I guess following along Commissioner Ward, working with the Budget Committee and the like, surely to goodness that you could come up with a plan between now and beginning the next school year.
We have been working on that, yes, sir.
Okay.
Dr. Ward have, we've had meetings about it. We're trying to come up with a
Sure.
funding between my department and his department to do this. And this was explained a month ago to
Sure.
some of the commissioners, but you see where we're at today.
We have a motion, it's been duly made and seconded, we've had more than ample discussion, question on the motion. All those in favor of shutting off funding immediately to the Sheriff's Department school system, respond accordingly. Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Commissioner Tester, Commissioner Ward, and Commissioner Miller.
I want a date when we'll have, I can tell my people when we'll have that resource up that school.
You can ask them after the meeting. I need for you to go ahead and vote. Okay? Reveal the vote. 2 ayes, 21 noes, motion fails. Commissioner comments, Mr. Garland.
I was going to ask, I know we're missing Roy Livingston, I heard he had some problems with his health. Any update on him to kind of know how he is?
He's rehab with our time
Heart attack or something like that?
I'm certain that Mr. Livingston would appreciate a call. He's at Hillview Nursing Home and rehabilitation right now. So, Mr. Livingston, I will say, has as good, if not better, attendance record of any elected or appointed official in this county when it comes to public meetings, so I'm certain he would appreciate hearing from you. Commissioner comments, Mr. Hill.
Thank you, sir. Next Monday at 1:30 in the afternoon, Road Mountain's welcoming the folks from the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and there'll be a reception and a dedication of the Appalachian Trail community signage. It's kind of a big deal for us, and I'd like to invite everyone that's here to come. They couldn't get the guy from TV to MC the thing, so I will be hosting this and introducing all the dignitaries, including our very own Mayor Leon Humphrey. Leon Humphrey, I'll be the carny marker at this thing. There'll be cake afterward, and it starts at 1:30. Don't come hungry because a lot of the restaurants in the district are closed on Monday, but there will be some cake afterward. Monday seems to be the day off around there, except for Bob's. Bob's will be open as far as I know. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Peters.
He reminded me of something. This Saturday night at Union High School, we'll be having a bluegrass and gospel song night with Carson Peters be there, Sacred Harmony. They'll have soup, beans, cornbread, all that. And I can Ken, we appreciate it. It's for the baseball and softball team.
Be great, keep that in mind, Macedonia County. Commissioner Lyons?
I just want to say it's good to have Mr. Carroll back with us, feeling well.
Absolutely.
God bless.
Came in here, he didn't have a walker or anything, a little cane, he's gonna throw that away next week or tomorrow or sometime. Commissioner Acuff?
Thanks to all of you who attended our first prayer breakfast. We had good attendance last month, and we also had two of our city folks come, Mayor Alexander, as well as Kim Birchfield. It was a good time. We will be meeting again this time at the Covered Bridge, Covered Bridge restaurant, where we had to change our plans. We had a no-show in terms of our caterer. Everybody can order off the menu. I'm sorry that Mr. Lewis has left, because instead of 6:15, we started at 6:30. So next Monday, Covered Bridge at 6:30.
Also, along those announcement lines, I have on my calendar that the bridge dedication for Private Philip Tolley will be this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Philip Tolley Bridge dedication this Wednesday, the 19th at 1 p.m. Okay?
On that subject, on bridge dedication, I was talking with Mr. Pollock the other day, and from my understanding, I might be wrong on this, but the people that we dedicate the bridge to, the family has to end up paying for the signs. I was talking it over with him, it would probably cost the county somewhere around $1,000 a year for us to buy those signs. And I don't know, I think that would be something good for the county to do. Instead of, we're dedicating the name of the bridge, but we could go one more step further. And I'd like to put that form in the motion.
So the motion is to set aside $1,000 a year to pay for any signage for bridge dedication. Is there a second?
I think the signs has already been paid for this bridge up here.
I'm talking
This
about-
one has, but he's talking about going forward. So motion, yes, sir.
I don't know what the price is now, but in years past, one sign for a state highway bridge ran over $500 at the time.
I think the last number I had was about $350, $370 for the pair, both sides. But, we'd have to get that information. So he's talking possibly 2-3 dedications a year.
It's just a one-way bridge, go up.
Yeah, but Commissioner Johnson, here in Carter County, sometimes we get creative. Just a couple of years ago, we gave separate name to each lane of the bridge. So you can double that up too.
So, Mr. Kowalski, the last bridge that we just did was, the sign ran about 100 speed bumps.
Okay, that's for the ones here in the county, but the state is a different situation. It's a lot more money.
We can separate it out if we want to say county bridge or the.
Does anyone have any interest in doing a second on this motion? Have a motion seconded by Commissioner Lyons to set aside $1,000 a year to pay for any and all bridge dedication within that period. Any discussion?
One question.
Shouldn't that go through the budget?
It's come through the budget committee though.
Well, normally that would happen, but in this case, there's been lots of items that have hit the floor where the motion's been duly made in the second, and you are the full budget committee, folks, 24 of you.
Everyone in the county's going to want a bridge made up.
It's free.
Does that include upkeep of them also, if something happens to them?
Somebody steals it.
If it's a county road, then we're accepting the upkeep. If it's a state road, then the state takes care of that. Okay, any more discussion before we ask the clerk? Commissioner Von Cannon, yes, sir.
If you're gonna get creative about bridge naming, I just was in North Carolina the last 3 days. And I saw underpasses named. You got the bridge on top of the name on it, and the underpass
How many bridges in the county you have? Mr. Paul Boss?
600,
Then after that, you got to name the culverts, the box culverts, and this is, you're going back to my first mistake in the commission.
Commissioner, we don't want to talk about any mistakes.
Voting against a sign. I don't know.
Okay, yes, Mr. Grindstaff.
My only concern is, you're talking about only paying for Bridge 4, it depends on the price, whether it's a state highway or a state bridge or a county bridge. I think that, I'm not necessarily against this. I understand wanting to help people out if they're wanting to name a bridge, but, I'd like to see if this is something that we're serious about, take it back to the committee, and we actually discuss, we come up with a plan, because, that goes back to an application process, that goes back to, well, is it fair for us to pay for a state bridge for somebody versus paying for a county bridge for somebody? It's two different prices. You only get two county bridges, or, 3 county bridges, 2 state bridges, what do you get? And actually pay maybe a little bit of money towards each sign as opposed to paying for the whole sign.
Well, in response to that, what I can see is this: if you go ahead and set the initiative forward, then if you do have an onrush of requests, then you'll have to consider expanding that commitment. So, but that's part of it. I'm not going to.
I would change, but it's already.
I tell you, this system's good. It is great. But nonetheless, you have the motion in front of you. You've had the debate. If you want to support the motion, respond with aye. If you're opposed to it, respond with nay. Madam Clerk, proceed with the vote. Mr. Von Cannon, reveal the vote. Okay, ends that discussion.
So can I make a motion to send that to Budget Committee for discussion?
There is a motion to send this matter to Budget Committee for consideration.
Second.
Is there a second? Second to Mr. Lyons. Any discussion on that matter?
I'm not sure why we'd be sending it since we just voted it down.
Well, it's a motion duly made and seconded.
We have the smartest people in the commission on the budget committee.
Okay, great. Any further discussion? All those in favor of referring this item back to Budget Committee, respond with aye. Those opposed, nay. Reveal the vote. Well, it failed as well. Next item. Anyone else? Commissioner comment. Commissioner McQueen.
Just really briefly, I don't know about all the other commissioners, but I found it quite alarming that it became an option and we have the power to shut down local municipalities. And I think it should certainly be something that we bring up in rules and bylaws to, at least in that situation, apply a second reading or do something to limit our own power. Because I can't see any circumstance in which that should be taken from the floor and commissioner comments and the possibility. That is not good.
Any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Meeting's adjourned.